This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome aboard the Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary here on this Friday, December 20th. Thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate you. Been a great week. And you know we like to do things big on Fridays, and that continues. On the program today, of course, we'll talk to Tom Brew later in the second hour. But coming up this hour, the incomparable Jamal Meeks. He's one of our favorites. He's a nut. He's a nut, man.
I'll tell you what, he has one of the best personalities and one of the most fun people to be around. It's sometimes he just cracks you up out of nowhere.
We cannot forget to talk about the Fat Boy Fit Club.
That's right. Is he still doing that?
You know what? I haven't. I was just thinking. I haven't seen it here of late.
I think it's just Fat Boy now. I think the Fit Club went away.
Oh man, I'm telling you, he could have marketed that. I think he could have started an online exercise program.
I don't disagree. He's always been a little bit like Richard Simmons.
I like your new jacket that you're wearing there. By the way,
It's got
mini pearl.
Yeah, it's got no collar, so I can't scratch the microphone for you.
Well, that's my favorite part of it is the price tag still hanging off of it.
I know it. It was in the bag, and I just yanked it and put it on this morning.
You gonna wear it today and then take it back?
I don't think they'd take it back after I wore it. No, I got a dark one. So you can't.
We got plenty to talk about today. Indiana basketball taking on the Fighting Irish Notre Dame at the Crossroads Classic tomorrow in Indianapolis. Indiana women's basketball takes on UCLA, number 12 Indiana, taking on number 10 UCLA on Sunday. A readout. We'll talk about that. Lots of other games to talk about. Josh Langford out for the year for Michigan State. We'll scratch on that. Ohio State and Kentucky go at it this weekend. Indiana football signs Indiana's Mr. Football. He'll be joining them again. We'll talk about that, the depth at quarterback. We'll bat around some names for the offensive coordinator position for Indiana. We'll talk a little bit more about the AD position as well. But today starts bowl season, man. The Bahamas Bowl is at 2 o'clock, Todd. My brother's down there. I just texted him. He's in charge of security for Charlotte. He's a state trooper down there. And I just sent him a text. You in Bahamas? Yep. Did we play it too? I was like, yes, I know.
Is he the guy that protects the coach?
Yeah, he's when you see that state trooper, he's the guy that's quote unquote protecting the coach.
Boy, I bet he was excited about the Bahamas Bowl.
Oh my God, that's what cracks me up. Look at that's their first bowl game ever. They've only been Division I for 2 years, couple of years, but it cracks me up because then you have a team like Michigan or whomever that ends up in the Detroit Quick Lane Bowl.
Right.
Who the hell wants to go there? And you've got Charlotte, who barely is bowl eligible, barely beat people, and they're in the damn Bahamas.
Yeah. Hey, some people just have that good karma going for them.
I'd take it.
One of the brothers had to get it, so it looks like it was him. You get to work with me.
Well, there's that. There's that.
Which one's luckier?
Who knows? I mean, it's a toss-up, man. It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
So we get to go to Jacksonville instead, so I'll take that.
That's true.
Of course, I'm not going to lie to you. Bahamas
would be pretty nice.
Good.
Yeah. I remember one of my years in the radio. 1 year we were in with Fish. 1 year we were in Maui, and 1 year we were in San Juan. And I'll tell you what, that's San Juan. I'd like to go back there as many times as possible. It was nice.
Jake, do you have a smoke detector?
It's me.
Oh, I was going to say.
I'm going to have to get it at the break. It literally didn't start till we went on the air. But
is it doing one of those, the battery's low thing?
It must be. It's one of those things. I feel like Baker Mayfield. because I've changed this thing like 4 times. You seen that commercial with Baker Mayfield where he walks around the stadium? That's what I feel like. I've changed this one like 4 times. I've only lived here for a year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way to start off on a Friday, baby.
Yep.
I told you it was a big Friday. Jamal Meeks is coming on. I can't. First of all, he's a nut. He's such a. You said he's got the greatest personality. He's so funny, and I can only imagine he's going to be even funnier with you on here.
He'll have. You know what's always interesting about him is he'll have some weird angle to look at a story or look. So we'll have to figure out a way to bring up some stories to him about something, or just ask him something about Notre Dame. He'll have some weird, crazy story about something from whatever we bring up. That it's always hilarious to. He's almost like being on Jimmy Kimmel. You can just bring up a random topic and he'll just go off and start talking about it. It's crazy.
Well, I can tell you this: we're going to be on time. I told him it's going to be at 20 past.
You got Bob Knighted last time, didn't you?
I got Bob. It's exactly what I got last time. I got Bob Knighted. I had him. I was doing an interview with Jamal, and I had one with Brian Evans before. Well, I had never interviewed either of them, but the Jamal one would have been fine, except for I had Brian Evans on before, and it was a half hour before. And I usually, 15, 20 minutes is usually tops. We were at like 35. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I said, I've never had him on. I said, I don't want to upset him, so I don't want to cut him off. Damn, Brian can talk, man.
Yeah, he's as bad as me.
Brian rolls. Brian's like he's sitting down in a recliner with his feet up, just having a conversation, and it ain't going to end for a minute.
He's like an elephant though, because he never forgets the story. He'll remember stuff. And when we were just together not that long ago, he was bringing stuff up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And he remembers it vividly, like it happened last week. He's incredible with his memory. Oh, it's amazing. But anyway, so that interview went long. And I didn't get to Jamal as quickly as I wanted to. Oh, my God, did I hear about it. Jimmy, Jimmy, you're late. Language you're not allowed to use on this show. Jimmy, you're late. I said, man, it was funny. And then it started again yesterday, trying to get this scheduled today. I asked him if in this particular hour if we could have him on. And, yeah, sure, call me. And I gave him the exact time. Oh, he went, what, that's not what you said. That's not how he said it. Yeah, exactly. No, it's not how he said it, but he was just giving me grief. It's funny. He was just being funny. But looking forward to having him on, man. It's always a good time. Looking forward to getting out to Indianapolis tomorrow. I talked about the Notre Dame-Indiana game at the Crossroads Classic. Don't forget, after the game with Todd Leary, coming to you from the Tap up in Indianapolis on Mass Ave, 306 North Delaware. Excited to go up there. Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. We've done it from the Tap in Bloomington, but never from that one in Indianapolis. So I'm super excited. We were at the Tap in Bloomington a couple times before Yogi's got open. Nope. I hope their fries are as good as the ones in Bloomington. Remember those fry baskets we got? They have different food. Do they? Actually, I think, if I recall correctly, I prefer their fries better. Really? Yeah. I think they've got like shoestring fries. Oh, man. What's up with that, Joker? That's baloney. He sends me a picture of a big old heaping plate of sausage gravy biscuits. Oh, gravy. Oh, it looks so good. I'm hungry. You need to start eating before the show. Well, I try to keep this girlish figure. Mm-hmm. That failed a long time ago. There are a lot of girls that do have that figure. You're right. None that I want to date, I can promise you. Oh, man. Charlie Spiegel, Indiana Mr. Football. He's going to be playing Indiana. So I got another text on him, too. That was, what was it? Yeah, Tim. He's from New Pal, right? Yes. He said, Tim texted in and said, how can a Mr. Football not be rated, like have a star rating? Well, the same reason, I guess, he's a walk-on and not getting a scholarship. Well, he probably doesn't go to those camps. He doesn't go to those camps. That'll tell you exactly what it is. This dude, let me tell you his numbers. He broke state records. He rushed for, I'm going on memory on this,
I think it was 178 touchdowns in his career. He rushed for over nearly 11,000 yards. It was 10,800, I think.
I mean, I hesitate to do
yards.
this because it's going to sound like I'm picking on the kid, and I'm not. It has nothing to do with him. But that record is fairly tied to the level of football that he's playing against. There's no way he does that against the Ben Davises and the Warren Centrals.
He played in New Pal for 2 years, brother.
Yeah, well, who do they play? They don't play Ben Davis and.
They're the
no.
Aren't they 3A? They're 3A.
Well, they're not 6A.
Or no. I'm sorry. I forgot. We're talking football. There are 6 classes in football. I think that they're 5A.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
They play some good team. Columbus East. You don't think Columbus East is a good team?
Pull up.
Wait a minute. You don't think Columbus East is a good team?
All I'm saying is on a regular basis, based on it's the same as the Damon Bailey. Damon Bailey is one of the best basketball players to ever play in the state of Indiana. There's no way he has the all-time scoring record if he plays at Ben Davis or Lawrence North or North Central or any school where you have better competition. Not a chance in the world.
Normally, I would agree with you. In Damon's case, I don't, because I think he'd have scored those points. I don't care who he's playing against because I saw him do it. I saw him do it again in the state finals. I saw him take over that championship game with however many minutes it was to go, and nobody else touched the ball. He brought the ball up the floor. He scored the last 11 points of the game, and they could not stop him.
I can guarantee 1,000,000% there isn't a chance in the world he scores the amount of points that he scored if he plays in Indianapolis. No way. No way. You are.
First of all, he played in the Hoosier Hills Conference, which was loaded. New Albany, Jeffersonville, Floyd Central. Get out of here.
Yeah, you're embarrassing
Floyd Central was amazing.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Floyd Central had a Final Four team, man. What are you talking about? Crazy. He's out of his mind, people. He's out of his mind.
What you got, Jake? No. Oh, yeah, that's exactly right.
He's not into football. He's not. Who cares?
New Pal played Cecina, which I wasn't even sure that they had a football program.
Well, whatever. That means you don't know what you're talking about. Then so they got a good one.
Played Whiteland. Richmond's a big school, but
there you go.
How big they are. Yorktown, no idea where that is. Mount Vernon, I know where that is. It's really small. Pendleton Heights, super small. Greenfield Central, super small. Shelbyville, small. Newcastle.
Yeah,
never
Newcastle.
Heard of him in football. You ever heard of him in football? Name a football player from Newcastle. And if you say Kent Benson, it doesn't count. Delta's up by Muncie. They're nothing. Muncie Central. And Zionsville. That's their schedule. Now, the kid is awesome. Please don't let anyone turn this into I'm saying the kid isn't an awesome football player. That is not what I'm saying.
But to add to what you are saying, but to get to
no way.
To add to what you're saying, to support what you're saying, and I don't mean this as a negative towards the kid either, but he is going to Indiana on a preferred walk-on status, not on a scholarship. So, but I think that's a situation that may have been situational, and maybe they didn't have the scholarship this year because he'll probably end up under scholarship next year. That's what the preferred walk-on status allows you to quickly get a scholarship, and he probably will. But I understand what you're saying because, and actually, to add even more fire to what you're saying, he only played at New Pal for 2 years. Prior to that, I think he played at a smaller school.
Really?
Yeah. But regardless, the record's the record and the yards are the yards. And the funny thing is, do you know what it will take to beat that record? Someone will have to average over 2,700 yards for 4 years.
That's insane.
That is nuts. Yeah, that's crazy.
Let me tell you a list that he's joining. Okay, and you tell me what these people are. J.J. Watt, Jordy Nelson, Baker
Jordy
Mayfield.
Nelson? Wait, who are these guys?
I want you to tell me what category this is.
Oh.
Jordy Nelson, Baker Mayfield,
football,
Clay Matthews, and J.J. Watt. What does he have in common with all those people?
He plays the same sport.
They were all walk-ons when they went to college.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But Mitchell Page, man, my man Mitchell Page. Mitchell Page waves that walk-on flag. He waves that flag all the time. Love Mitchell. Mitchell's a great friend of the show. He was a walk-on, and he left here as one of the most decorated receivers, and then played a few years in professional football and left as like an MVP.
Well, you take all those people and you put a chip on their shoulder, and
we gotta go. We gotta go. It's 9:20.
Oh, well.
You got to call Jake.
You got to get a hold of
Jamal right now,
or we'll all be in trouble.
Call him right now. We're going to break. We're back with more on Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. We're back with Jamal Meeks if Jake can get him on the phone right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier, number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary here on this Friday, December 20th, and we've got number 23 live today. Jamal Meeks joining us. Jamal, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm awesome, man. How about you guys this morning?
Are you on the treadmill right now?
No, I'm about to need to get my fat ass on there soon, though. I've been slacking, man. I've been slacking, boy. I've been eating good. and laying around lazy. Everybody been talking about me. When you coming back, coach? You starting to get fat again, coach? I said, well, shit, I'm used to being fat. So there ain't nothing new.
Is the Fat Boy Fit Club on hiatus?
No, actually, we're going to get going this morning. We got some guys. It's one of the football coaches that I usually walk with. He called me last night. Was like, hey, coach. Hey, man, we ain't done a video in a long time, man. I said, yeah, because we ain't worked out in a long time. He said, well, we got to get to it today. I said, well, all right, I guess we'll do it. So I guess I'll get back to it today.
I think you could take that, and that could be a side business for you, man. You could really do a whole side TV or live Facebook thing. People really gravitate.
Everybody say we just have a good time, man, laughing and joking. And the thing for me, man, it's hard for me to get to the treadmill. So if I can get somebody there with me where we can joke and laugh a little bit, then I'm all for it.
You got a face for radio, brother. You better stick to the
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2-1, what's up, baby? How you doing this morning?
Oh man, just sitting here trying to get by every day. I look at the treadmill. I look at the treadmill every day. I just don't ever get on it.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot lately.
I learned one thing sitting next to you at IU in the locker room, and that is we joined the same eating club and we joined the same workout club.
Then we're in the same drinking club too, right?
Well, I can't. No, I would love to be able to say I'm in your club, but there is no way.
Oh shit!
My blood alcohol tent was.
Everybody thought I was a machine, Leary.
My blood alcohol content was based off of the sweat that I got rubbing off on you in practice.
You knew it was hard sweat too, baby.
Yes,
you knew it was hard sweat, baby.
I knew those days. I knew those days when you walked in the locker room sweating before practice. We were in for a long one.
Boy, to be young again, man. I wish I could go back to that, bro. Wow.
I hear you.
Now it's hard to get out the bed.
We thought we had it rough back then, didn't we?
Man, swear we did, man. Wow. I look at all the stuff that's going on now, man, with the kids nowadays, and the way coaching is and the way everybody does their stuff now. Man, it's way, way totally different, man, than what we're used to dealing with.
It's funny because I've talked to the IU coaches all the time, but we've got some buddies that are coaching around the country, and it's so funny because everybody says that exact same thing. Everybody say, and they always say, kids are so much different now. You got to recruit different, and you got to basically just coddle everybody around for 4 years.
Yes. It's a lot of it, man.
Really?
No, it's just it's a lot. It's like Leary, I knew you guys were my friends. I loved y'all, man. We had great times together, all that. But when we got between them lines, man, I didn't care nothing about how you felt or anything else when we started playing. I didn't care about none of that. You were one of my best guys, but I didn't care nothing about that. Okay, I was coming to put my foot as far as I can in your behind. And that's just what it was every day.
Yep.
And these guys don't do that.
It's funny,
like,
Jamal,
okay, we're friends and we can't do that to each other. Yeah, I'm coming to bust your butt every day, bro. Every time we lace them up, I'm coming for your neck.
I tell the story all the time, Jamal, about when all 7 of us came in as freshmen with Calbert and everybody. When we came in, the very first day of practice, you got out in front of everybody and you said, hey, look, we're all friends and we're all buddies. But once we walk out of this locker room and we go out there on the court, we're out there to try to kill each other. But afterwards, when we come back in here, everybody's buddies again, and we leave everything out on the court. And I tell that story all the time because that's one of the best leadership moves that any locker room I've ever been in. That's one of the best things because for 4 years we held that up. Then you were gone a couple years after I got there and graduated, and I made sure that I was the guy that let everybody know that. Because it was such an important factor. It's such a big thing to be able to know when we go out there, it's almost like a different personality. When you come back in the locker room, we all got to be buddies again. And that was one of the best things I think you ever did.
Well, the thing for us, we had to go into them hostile environments, man. Everybody wanted to beat us. I mean, everybody, whatever gym we went into, they wanted to beat us. So we had to be on our stuff. If we weren't, man, we were going to get killed. And we had a few of those. And
we had 10 guys on the court or 10 guys on the team that all, were capable of playing, and we all were fighting for playing time. So when we're going out there, we're not going out there to be nice to each other.
No, not at all.
It's not that way
man.
anymore.
Those few minutes, man, are precious. I mean, basketball is not an equal opportunity employer either. That's what the guys don't understand. Right. The guys that get out there and give their all the time are the ones that are going to play the most. It's just that simple.
Yep. It's definitely different now.
Jamal, the guys that you're coaching today, are you able to reach them like when you were playing with Todd and all those guys and that mindset? Are the guys, do they still have that middle approach and you can reach them on that level?
Yeah, we got a good group of guys that a couple leaders in this deal that have that mentality, and that's our job, as coaches, man, is to get them to understand what we're trying to do and the way we have to approach it to be successful. I mean, that goes with everything, with how the way we handle ourselves with our on campus, how we talk to tutors, how we talk to professors, the whole deal. It's all about their growth, and that's what we're here to push for that.
Now, you're still up at Monmouth, right?
Yeah, I'm still at Monmouth. Actually, I'm headed to practice. We have a game tomorrow. We play Albany University tomorrow at 2. So we got practice at 11, and I'm headed in now to go in early with a couple guys and shoot before we start practice.
So you got Auburn tomorrow?
Albany.
I was like, damn.
Albany University, yeah. We went out to Kansas, man, and played Kansas and Kansas State and Pittsburgh. So we've had enough of that.
The AD spot's open right now. One of the names that's come up is another former teammate, Jamal, Chris Reynolds, who's now over at Bradley in Springfield, Illinois. What do you think about the open situation with the AD?
Man, that's awesome. They need to interview him. Definitely, Chris Reynolds, man, is one of my greatest friends, man. Every time, man, something happens or anything goes on, Chris Reynolds is one of the first guys to call me, man.
Well, I remember the last time we spoke, you talked about, of course, one of the days you want to be a head coach. It's one of your goals, and you were going to talk to him about some of the things on heading in that direction for counsel, and because of the position he's in.
Absolutely. Actually, he's still waiting on some paperwork from me that I need to send out to him soon so he can put the red pen on it. So I'm just lucky, man. I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world, man, because I had teammates and guys that I'm still friends with to this day that are willing to help and love me.
Yeah. Well,
that's
Jamal,
awesome,
you were
man. That's
you
an
were
awesome deal to have, man.
It is, but that you created that, Jamal, because you were. People ask about, they ask you the same thing about, what was it like playing at IU? They always want a Bob Knight story. They always want whatever, but it comes up all the time as to, what certain teammates were like. And you were just one of those guys that you were the glue, like you were kind of the cohesive part. When you were gone, you don't know this, but when you were gone after you graduated, that next summer, I mean, Calbert basically set everybody down as like, okay, well, who's going to take over for Jamal? Because when things were going bad, Jamal was always the guy that kind of regrouped us and got us back together. And you kind of formed this unit with us that it was us versus the coaches. And it was just, not in a negative way, but you know what I mean? Like we had our own.
We had to let them know that we were coming to do our work.
Right.
And then sometimes, man, a lot of times with coaches, we don't have all the answers. We think we do sometimes, but a lot of the answers, man, are right with the players.
Right.
Because they're actually going through it.
Yeah.
And then and then me being here at Monmouth, man, and being out of coaching for 10 or 15 years and then come back to Monmouth and then to be an assistant with King Rice and then watch how he handles the guys. Man, it's unbelievable. I mean, he does an awesome job at that, of building that team and togetherness and family with all of us. And we always explain to guys, hey, guys, we wouldn't have brought you to Monmouth if we wanted to mess with you. and
Right.
to be on your neck all the time. We brought you here because you're a good player, okay? And you're a really good player. And then you, with the rest of our guys, we can have a really, really good team, okay? That's why you're here. I think everybody on this team can play. But we all have to work toward one common goal. And that's winning this MAC championship. And
do those kids realize?
tournament.
Do those kids realize how lucky they are to have members on their coaching staff from two of the most premier college basketball programs in college basketball while they were at their peak?
They don't know, man. They kids. They won't know that. They won't know that until after they leave. Just like I didn't know what I had until I left Indiana. I thought I knew everything, but then once I left, I was like, wow, damn, them guys really, really cared for me, really took care of me. You know, once you leave college, man, nobody's cheering for you no more, especially when you're not playing. And then what's going to be your motivation to get up and go do your job every day? That's what we're building.
Obviously, Coach Knight was an influence on you. Or who is there anybody else coaching-wise that was an influence on you?
My mama. My mother.
Yep.
They generally get things set straight.
about going hard every day and giving your best every day. That's from my mother. I mean, there's times, man, I talk to Coach Rice and some of our guys about how my mother treated me and raised me. Man, my mother raised a warrior, boy. Woo-wee. You had to be tough to live in her house. Okay, here's some of the stuff my mother would do, all right? She would wash her clothes. She would fold them up, and then she'd put them on your bed, okay? And she said, I want all these clothes put in your drawers, okay? And when she opened those drawers, all those drawers had to be neat, bro. If there was one shirt out of place, she pulled the whole drawer out and dumped the whole drawer on the bed. Okay? So that was details, right? That was pay attention to the details. And then when I get to college, you got Coach Knight saying the same thing. Details. You got to do the details. We got to do all the small stuff right for everything to work. Okay, well, I was already trained for the details. Before I got to IU, I was already trained with that.
I was going to say, it sounds like you played for Coach Knight before you got to Indiana.
Say it again?
I said, it sounds like, yeah, you played for Coach Knight before you ever got to Indiana.
Man, Coach Knight was a walk in the park compared to my mama.
Okay? Wait a minute. So I need to blame your mom for all those bloody noses and black eyes and stuff that I got in practice all the time?
All that, Todd. It's her. Oh. It's her. Blame her.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I ain't going to honk the horn for her either. Mom, I threw you under the bus.
I can tell you this. The one thing Todd has said more than once is if he had to go into a fight, he wants Jamal Meeks on his side. And he said that numerous times.
Yeah, but we ain't playing, man. When it's time to get down, it's time to get down. Okay? And then and if you messing with my guys, you messing with me. So that's just how I roll. If we're together, we together. And no one can call Todd 2-1 but me.
Yeah, that's my nickname. We're keeping that to ourselves.
Yeah. I got a job now. I got a job now to get that out. I know you're busy during coaching. Basketball season started because you're coaching. Do you get a chance to watch Indiana at all?
Man, I watch Indiana every time they come on TV, bro. I had a chance this past weekend. I was up in the Bronx recruiting, and got a chance to sit with Bruiser Flint. And Bruiser's a super friend of mine, man. Love Brew. Love him to death. And Brew goes, "Hey, what's up, Meeks? What's up? Hey, ain't nothing happening, Brew. What's going on?" Nothing, man. I said, "Hey, man, I got something in my pocket, man, that, I got my mom's shirt on here to recruit, but I got something in my pocket, man, that you might like." And he goes, "What is that? What's that? What's that?" He's looking. So I stick my hand in my coat and I pull out my Indiana toboggan or skull cap, as we call them.
Skull cap.
And he goes, "Hey, man, you got an Indiana hat with you?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm Indiana every day, bro." And he just cracked up laughing. So I follow my Hoosiers, man. I'm loyal, and I love Indiana, period.
I know you're able to get back to a game occasionally, but and again, with your own basketball schedule, it's difficult. Any plans to come back this year?
Yeah, we'll have to figure out when the schedule permits. I'm sure it'll be sometime during the year. I'll be recruiting in that area, and I'll get a chance to get down there again and see the guys.
Well, I know that Janko's Little Zagreb's is your favorite restaurant here, so I'm going to make sure that Todd pays for us to go eat there when you come.
You know that.
Hey, Todd.
Yes, sir.
Hey, he already owed, man, so he owed 2 dinners now, man. So now I'm going to get yours paid for, all right?
I know if I go with you, we're getting out of there for free. Trust me, I know that.
You already know it, baby. Let's go. Absolutely.
What else is going on in the world of Jamal Meeks right now? I know it's a basketball-heavy season.
Man, it's really busy right now, man. My 15-year-old son just got back from Florida with the it's called the AYF, the American Youth Football League. He was down on the All-Star team down in Florida. They won the championship down there, and he's fired up. My oldest boy is a senior in high school here. He's got his first game tonight at his school, Ocean High School. So we're nonstop with the boys. And then my daughter is she's a senior here at Monmouth, and she's finishing up her last year here at Monmouth. So and my wife's holding everything down, making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be.
You got a lot going on in the Meeks family, man. It's a busy time.
It's a bunch, man. And we're headed to practice to get some shots up. So, man, what a beautiful day to wear sweats and go to the gym and work on your game.
Don't forget to hit that treadmill, man.
Yeah, that later, man. I thought I was going to get away from that, but you keep bringing it up, so I'm going to have to go to it now.
Jamal, man, I cannot thank you enough. We appreciate you so much, and look forward to doing this again maybe later on in the basketball season. I know you're busy, but we cannot thank you enough for your time.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on, man. It's always good to talk to my guys. Hey,
You're
Todd
the best,
Leary, I love
Meeks.
you, bro.
I love you, Jay Meeks.
All right, man. Take care.
See you, buddy.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, Jamal. Jamal Meeks, former Indiana basketball player, joining us. Man, he is just one of the absolute best guests you can ever have. Just one of the best people you can be around. But that doesn't always make a great guest. He is both. He's both. He is gold. He's magic.
Here's what you got to understand, and you've had him on here enough that you get it. But that's him every day. Like, that was not a – there was no
acting.
No act. And
acting.
He wasn't just fired up while we're on the – he's like that every day. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be great going through life as Jamal Meeks.
Yeah, he's good at it. He's good at it.
He's a happy person. And the great thing is, though, what he does great is you cannot not be happy when you're in his presence.
Yeah.
I don't care how
well you can practice against it. You can practice against him and not be happy.
Well, that's a two. I'll take that little bubble out. Yeah, that's a different deal there.
Remember, I came to IU at like 155 pounds. And Jamal was already. I mean, I think Jamal came out of the womb at about 215, and he's just thick and he's strong and it's just he
played hard. He played hard.
Man. He hurt a lot of people. I know that he hurt me a lot.
And that's funny coming from a not that he's small, but on the court, a guard. I mean, he's one of the guys, God dang it, you don't want to be in that paint down there in a scrum. No. You're going to catch an elbow in the face.
Yeah, that, and it's just like even guarding you out on the floor. Like what people don't watch a lot of, and we used to do it, you can't get away with it as much anymore, but like when your guy would pass the ball and go away and, try to run away, like it was your job to kind of, grab him and scratch him and, chuck him with your forearm a little bit and all that. And, man, he used to catch you in the wrong spot in your stomach sometimes, and you're just like, geez, it's freaking November 20th, Jamal. We don't have a game. Like, why are you killing me?
Oh, man, we've got a great show going and more to come. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. We're back with all that and more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Listen to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Coyle and Leary. Here on this Friday, December 20th. Man, we just finished up with Jamal Meeks. There's no place to go but down after that.
Nope. You just gotta stay with the level of excitement that he brought.
Woo! Founder of the Fat Boy Fit Club, the FBFC.
Sounds like it's been on a little bit of a hiatus.
Exactly. It sounds like I may have prompted that reopening of that today.
Jamal's one of those people that can everybody it's kind of like this. Like he can work out for a long time and lose 10 pounds and put it all back on in a day and a half.
He eats as vigorously as he plays, it sounds like.
Yep, he's good at it.
Indiana really basketball takes on Notre Dame tomorrow in the Crossroads Classic at Indianapolis Bankers Life Fieldhouse. That's at noon tip-off. After the game, Todd Leary takes place at the Tap, 306 North Delaware on Mass Ave up in Indianapolis. We'll be there live on Facebook afterwards to tell you what happened, talk about it, and go over all that. Indiana leads this series 50-22. This is the 73rd meeting, Todd. It started back in 1908.
Jeez, that's 2 years before you were born.
Exactly. You know, I was looking over some of the all-time the wins in that, and one of the ones that jumped out at me was 1970. Lou Watson, and that both teams
I don't have it pulled up right now, but both teams scored in the 100 points. Joby Wright, I think it was Joby Wright. I think was it Joby? I think it may have been Joby Wright and George McGinnis both scored 29 points that game.
Really? Is Joby that old?
Man, I may have that wrong. I'm gonna try to find.
Joby was an assistant at IU my freshman year. That's how old I am.
Well, I knew he was.
He sure was. And then where did he get a coaching job? Was it Wyoming or something like that? I think he got a head coaching job at I think it's Wyoming. And he wore sweatpants to every game. Did you ever see that? You remember that he wore a sweatsuit to every game? He never wore a suit. He wore a sweatsuit to every game.
What was that about? Bob Knight didn't even do that.
I'm not sure.
That's funny.
I don't understand why coaches wear suits. Like that's something I'll never really understand. I mean, Coach Knight wearing a sweater. I mean, they were some ugly sweaters, but I mean, I got the point of he didn't want to wear a suit and tie. But I don't understand why coaches do that. Like what's the purpose of that? Anybody?
Of what?
Why do coaches wear suits? Why do coaches wear a shirt and tie and a coat? That's not comfortable. They don't wear that on a regular basis.
Some people want to be just looking good, I guess.
It's not some people, though. Every coach.
Bob Knight did.
I know, but name another one.
I don't think Mike
Bob
does.
Huggins.
What does Mike? Bob Huggins. Mike Bray. Doesn't he wear he wears a suit?
No, he wears a coat, but no tie.
No tie.
Hoiberg had on a coat, but no tie.
And they usually shed the coat.
But even that, like that's not what they were to practice.
I think it's a professional image, but I can say that, and then you can say, well, what about baseball? The baseball managers wear the uniform,
right? I know.
It's a weird thing.
Football coaches don't stand over there in a suit and tie.
It's a personal preference.
That's crazy. I don't understand that.
All right, 1970, Indiana 106, Notre Dame 103. Indiana was down 53-43 at the half, and they ended up with 106 points. That's in a regular season game with no
three-pointers, right? Yeah, that's crazy. I would have liked to play for Lou Watson, it sounds like.
They were called the Hurricane Hoosiers. That's where that came from back then.
That's when it started?
Well, I don't know if it was under him or under Branch McCracken, I'll be honest with you. But and on top of that, in that game, Notre Dame was number 6 in the country. That was in South Bend. And Notre Dame had Austin Carr, who was averaging 30 points a game. George McGinnis and Joby Wright led IU with 29 each. There you go.
Wow. I did not know that George McGinnis and Joby played together.
All right, here's another great historical fact. The next year, 1971, this is the inaugural game in Assembly Hall. And is this Bob Knight's first year, I believe? Anyway, the score of this game, this is the next year. The year after Notre Dame scored 103 points, Indiana wins 94-29.
Whoa. Heck, they had a guy averaging more than that the year before. I'm guessing Austin Carr graduated.
Let's see. Who was it? I remember a name from this that I don't remember this player, but Indiana player John Ritter, he had 31 points in that game.
John Ritter? I have met John Ritter.
He had 31. Notre Dame only had 29. He had 31 by himself.
Really?
Huh. That was Digger Phelps' first year.
What?
That was his first year at Notre Dame, yeah.
As a coach?
The Notre Dame coach.
Gee, how many years was he there? 25?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Because he was there when we played him.
I mean, his timeline's about the same as Knight's.
That's crazy.
Huh. They were both there kind of the same time.
I think he might have got fired sometime right around then. I'm not a big Digger Phelps fan.
Whew.
Coach Knight used to have him come to practice.
Oh, yeah. They were buds.
Yeah.
Well, they were the same kind of personalities in a way.
They weren't. Well, Phelps sucked. You're crazy.
What I was going to say in a way is that they were both in that tell it like it is kind of a thing. That's the only similarity that I meant. But they were both in that older. I'm not sugarcoating crap. I'm telling you like it is.
Yeah. Well, if a guy has the track record that Coach Knight has, when he tells you like it is, then it's kind of fact and it's the law. If a guy who sucks does it, then he's just an idiot.
We've got Kalen DeBoer is obviously a name that we've been talking about. He Indiana's offensive coordinator that is now the head coach at Fresno State, but he will be coaching Indiana at the Taxter Gator Bowl. We got a clip from him talking yesterday, and I wanted to get that on here before we ended the show. So let's go to that clip real quick.
Really want to talk about a special group that I was just a part of over in Indiana. Indiana University, under the football program under the direction of Tom Allen, has done some amazing things, and he's been there for 3 years. And I was obviously in and out just from January till now, and you talk about a special group of coaches and a special group of players that included me into their team and their program instantaneously. Everything I asked from the coaches, everything I asked from the players was received so well. I couldn't ask for anything more. And having had this chance to be a part of them and have one of the greatest seasons in their history, winning 8 regular season games and going for 9, which has only happened just 3 times in the program's many, many years of football, is truly a special. And it's about love there, just like it's going to be about love here. And I love those guys, and certainly want to see them and again before I make my official last moments and then head this way. But I'll never forget the 1 year I spent at Indiana University under Tom Allen and with those players and coaches.
There's Kalen DeBoer, former Indiana offensive coordinator. That's I guess still quasi offensive coordinator, and now the Fresno State head coach, talking about his time in Indiana, thanking Tom Allen. One of the things that stood out to me on that, Todd, is Tom Allen is big on LEO, love each other. I mean, it's LEO, 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 and that sounds like, on the face of it, it sounds like a rah-rah thing. But I found out way early on this season that this team in particular, they're all bought into that. They are all together, and you can see it on the field. It has really worked. And hearing Kalen DeBoer talk about that's something he's taken with him. It left an impact, obviously. He was only here for 9 months. It left a hell of an impact.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And there's some things that Tom Allen brings to the table from a head coaching perspective that people just gravitate to, and you can tell they enjoy. And Bill Mallory, I keep comparing the two because motivationally they're kind of the same person, and everyone that's ever been around Coach Mallory has had a good time and enjoyed themselves and come away from it feeling excited and ready to go play a football game. And I think Tom Allen brings a lot of that same intensity and just excitement with him. And the whole Leo thing is, it's great to have something that everyone could kind of, fall back on and relate to, because when things go bad, and there's a lot of, we're looking at the bowl games right now, we're looking at the good time of the year right now, but in spring practice and in the summertime at 5:30 in the morning, weightlifting and things like that, like there are dog days of workouts and training and all that. And that's when you've got something like the Leo and the love each other, all that stuff, and you've got something to fall back on and try to live up to, that's when those things, come into play and are a bigger factor in it. And it's great that he instilled that, because obviously it's made a huge impact based on what Kalen DeBoer said.
Well, you know how difficult it is playing basketball to get 13 scholarship players on the same exact page. Sure. Everybody on this. Can you imagine 113?
Well, here's the real hard part is everyone who comes in there, like, we just talked about a bunch of new signees yesterday for the football team. And, all those kids are coming in here, and in their mind right now, I mean, if they've already not talked about redshirting, they're planning on starting next year. And they're 18 guys of 113 you just said. So there's a whole bunch of guys who are also coming back next year who are planning on starting next year. And so it's very difficult. The whole team atmosphere, you're right, to have that many unhappy people, because everybody wants to be playing. Everybody goes to school to everyone joins that team to be out on the field. And obviously that's not a possibility. And, it's the same way in basketball. It's just a smaller number. And that's a coach's biggest, that's their biggest job they have, is to try to not keep everybody happy, but get everybody understanding and on the same page and working towards the same goal. And when that's truly why Coach Knight became what he became, because we believed more in the team than we believed in, ourselves as individuals and stuff like that. And when you can accomplish things that you as an individual didn't even know you could accomplish, and it's all in that team atmosphere, it's a special feeling that I don't know how you can describe it to someone. So, Coach Allen has done a fantastic job with his coaches, obviously, too. I mean, you could tell Kalen DeBoer really liked coaching here. It took a big opportunity for him to walk away from here.
We got a lot more coming up here on the program. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. Indiana takes on Notre Dame tomorrow, the Crossroads Classic. Of course, after the game with Todd Leary, immediately after that, we'll be at the Tap up in Indianapolis on Mass Ave, 306 North Delaware. So you can come join us after the game for that. Or if you're not going to the game, just come join us there. Just watch the game there. So we got a lot more coming up to talk about. Indiana women's team takes on UCLA on Sunday. That, tons more. Stay tuned. We're back at the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary here on this Friday, December 20th. Hope you're having a great day. It's been a great week, and it's been a great show already. Looking forward to continuing that. We were talking about Indiana and Notre Dame as they will clash tomorrow for the 73rd time, this time at the Crossroads Classic at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Looking through some of the historical games of this, and the thing that jump out of this are the names, Todd. The names that people are going to go, oh, wow. Like 1975, of course, a big year for Indiana. The start of the team that probably should have been undefeated without a doubt. But anyway, they faced an early test with a number 8 ranked Fighting Irish. Notre Dame, this is back when they were good year in and year out. I mean, they had a good run there, as did Indiana, of course. But these two teams were both tops in the country back then, man.
Yeah, they were. Obviously, I heard a lot about them growing up. They were one of the teams that was always on national television. So it was, it was just a game that you could always see them. And from an Indiana perspective, we just love great basketball. So my dad used to always love watching Notre Dame. So we had them on all the time as well.
In that particular game, Adrian Dantley led Notre Dame.
Oh,
There's
wow.
a name for you. Scott May led Indiana with 25. Move on to 77. The number 2 ranked 6-0 Notre Dame Fighting Irish came to Bloomington. Man, Notre Dame was really good back there. But they were led by Bill Lambier and Kelly Tripucka.
Kelly Tripucka. I spent a lot of days watching Kelly Tripucka play. I remember that specifically.
Indiana had a young group of guys. Mike Woodson, Steve Risley, Ray Tolbert were young back then, but veteran Wayne Radford, he hit some game-winning free throws with 4 seconds left in that game. Some great games back then too. But here's a bizarre note for that. The Notre Dame team was supposed to fly on the same plane that crashed with the Evansville team aboard it later. They were supposed to fly on that same flight that day. The Irish instead chose to travel by bus due to poor conditions. Wayne Radford was best friends with one of the passengers on that flight that perished, and he was aware of that when he played in that game.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a weird. I did not know that. That's a weird bit of information. We move forward to 1996. Andre Patterson hit a game-winning jumper from the lane to give Indiana a 76-75 upset over number 8 ranked Notre Dame in South Bend. Hoosiers overcome an 11-point second-half deficit in that game. Neil Reed led Indiana with 21 in that game.
Yeah, Neil was I know Neil took a lot of heat for the way things went down late in his carear, but Neil was a loved Indiana player and a hard worker, and
he was a tough sumbitch.
He was good.
Indiana missed several free throws in 1998. They down the stretch. Irish forced overtime in South Bend. IU only hit 15 of 27 at the stripe for that game. Woo-hoo! Boy, where'd that game get lost?
Jeez.
Let's see. Luke Recker led Indiana with 27, and A.J. Guyton added 17. Who won that game, though? Does it say? Tough shot at the buzzer to force OT. Indiana continues to miss free throws in overtime period, but escape with the win. Wow. 1999, Indiana 81-64 in overtime. That's a disparity for an overtime game. A.J. Guyton again.
What was it?
The final score was 81-64, but it was an overtime game.
In overtime? I'm going to say Notre Dame didn't score any.
I'm going to say they didn't score much. Then we go on to 2000. Our good friend Tommy Coverdale. They call it the Tom Coverdale game. Indiana traveled South Bend and took down number 10 Notre Dame. The sophomore Coverdale, who had played a total of 41 minutes his freshman season, stunned the home crowd as he led with Indiana with 30 points in that game. He was 11 of 15 from the field, including 4 of 6 behind the arc. His previous career high at that point, 13.
Wow. That's probably the more surprising part of that.
I mean, there's other ones I can go on, but you kind of know the rest of those deals. But man, those older games, love going back and going, oh wow, forgot about that. Or,
you forget about guys who played
these big time names,
right?
Man. It's amazing, and so just fun time. Now I know you've taken a lot of time to break down this matchup, and yesterday you said that Indiana has matchup problems defensively with this team.
Well, I think Indiana has matchup problems if they play the same lineups they've been playing. I don't. This is going to sound terrible, and I hate to even say it because I know it's going to seem like I'm really picking on him, but I don't know who Joey Brunk's going to guard on this team. I mean, they're big guys, will step out and hit 3-pointers and are not just good. I mean, they're more than capable of making 3-pointers, and they shoot quite a bit of them. I mean, they shoot 3 or 4 a game. So, I just don't know. Joey Brunk struggles, with foot speed when you get outside the lane, and I just don't know who he's going to guard. Now, you go to the flip side of that. I mean, size-wise, they've got, 6'9", 6'10", and 6'11" guys who play a lot. Size-wise, they don't really scare me. I mean, they don't pound it inside a ton. I'll be interested to see how Trace Jackson-Davis does in guarding guys out on the floor, because I think, if Joey Brunk's in there, he's obviously going to have to guard the guy who stays in the lane the most. So, it's a team. I mean, they got big guards. I mean, they got 6'6" guards, but I think Justin Smith will match up just fine with them. And the big guys are the ones that scare me. The big guys being able to step out on the floor and make shots, because once you start extending your defense out like that, the lane gets opened up. When when Joey Brunk can hang out in the lane, or Trace Jackson-Davis can hang out around the lane, it just kind of deters people from driving in, and they're not going to be able to do that in this game. I really think Indiana's going to have to extend their defense and get out, and it's going to create a lot of driving lanes. I just hope the guards are able to keep guys in front of them.
Let's see. So Devontae Green also, I don't think is going to be playing in this game. They will have Rob Finney, which is those guys is Rob Finney. I'm trying to think of how to say this without it coming across negative towards either one. But are they equally important in just different ways, or is Rob Finney's importance that much more because he's more the glue guy for that offense?
I think Rob Finney's he will consistently be more important. I think the game with 30 points out of Devontae Green, in that game, I'd say he was pretty darn important. But consistently, game by game, and what Rob brings and what he, his skill set and what he brings to the basketball team from a leadership perspective, I think that he's probably the more important player overall when you look at that. But if Indiana's out there chucking up shots and not able to make any shots and score the basketball, we're all going to be sitting there saying Devontae is equally as important. And there's going to be games that, Devontae was really the reason why Indiana was able to beat Florida State, because if they didn't have him, that would have been a grind. And they may have still won, but they also may not have. And Devontae was the offensive juggernaut that, that Florida State just couldn't stop. And, this team, when they struggle to score the basketball, they're not great. And they combined at Wisconsin, not being able to score with some pretty poor defense. And when you have those two, obviously you're not in a great position to win.
Absolutely. And this is a game that Indiana does not need to let slip away either. This is one that they should win. They're supposed to win, and they need to win.
If both teams play well, Indiana wins. I mean, that's the good part of it. I mean, Indiana sits in a position that it doesn't have to be a fluke. They don't have to do anything crazy. They've just got to come out and play well. But we're banking on the fact that they're going to play well. Notre Dame also, I mean, I was listening to the game last night, with the Auburn game last night, and Jimmy Dykes on there was talking about Notre Dame and how well they shoot the basketball. And I was just shocked at him making those statements, because they've had 2 games this year where they shot the ball really well. Every other game they have really, really struggled. And they've got some big guys that can step out and shoot. So I think that's probably what makes it look a little bit unique and a little bit different. But they've not lit it on fire this year. I mean, I think when we see they've got 6'9" John Mooney that can really extend the defense, and he's a big guy that steps out and shoots a lot of 3-pointers, and is more than capable of making them. And he can create a real matchup problem. I think Indiana has got to figure out a way to limit his touches out on the floor, because if he's got it out there, you have to go guard him. And once you go out there, then you've really opened things up inside.
Yeah, and as we've seen college basketball this season, nothing is out of the question. No result is out of the question.
For sure.
So this is not like this is a in-the-bag win for Indiana or anybody, because it's not. We saw last night, if you look at scores, Maryland, who we think is being one of the better teams in the Big Ten, they lost to Seton Hall, who was out without their top two scorers and just lost to Rutgers. So, once again, on any given night, man, you don't know who's going down, but somebody usually is.
You want to talk about bad shooting? Go watch the first half of Maryland last night. It was some of the worst. It was some of the worst basketball I have ever seen. That's how bad they shot the ball. I think they were shooting 13% at one point. And their shots they weren't rattling in and out. They were bricks off the backboard. It was, I couldn't even figure out what was going on. Like, they looked so bad that I was watching the game going, this is going to make me so mad, because January the 4th, when Indiana goes there, I'll guarantee you they shoot 60% for the game, and Indiana will just struggle in there. But last night, Indiana would have beat them last night by 30. They were terrible last night.
Another game coming up this weekend, in addition to, of course, Indiana, Notre Dame, and the other games after that is Purdue and Butler. Butler, I think they're ranked 13th in the country now.
Yeah,
they're up there. I can't remember.
Yeah, they're up there, 17, 13, something like that. But yeah, I mean, they're good defensively. You look at their scores. Heck, they were getting destroyed by Baylor. We were watching that game on TV together. They were getting destroyed by Baylor, and they tightened up the defense and made it super tough. I think Baylor only scored like 19 points in the second half, maybe. And they brought it all the way back and had a chance to win that game at the end on a last-minute shot. So, Butler's a very difficult team to play, because I think defensively they're all bought in. And when they score the basketball, they're very tough to beat. But Purdue always is good defensively. And they're kind of in that same situation. It'll make a difference in whether Harms can play or not. I know he was out for concussion in the last ball game, so I don't know if he'll be playing. He would be a huge factor for Purdue in that matchup, but we'll see.
Another big game this weekend, and Tim mentions it, asking, does Kentucky go down? The Wildcats, after a loss to Utah the other night, now they have to play Ohio State. It's a great matchup, because it's an opportunity for Ohio State to show that, we're one of the best teams in college basketball this year. But you got Kentucky, who they can't afford another loss. They've already got beat twice by unranked teams, and I know Ohio State is not that, but this is an opportunity for Kentucky to say, hey, those were anomalies and we're for real.
Yeah, well, they're not. Kentucky's not very good. and I don't like Kentucky, but I don't really like Ohio State either. So this is a battle of the I don't give a cares. but I mean, I don't see – I feel like we're going to be saying this a lot, and I don't know if it's the extended three-point line or what it is, but – I mean, Kentucky can't score the basketball either. I mean, they can't shoot. They got one guy on their team that can shoot, and he's really streaky. So, they're not a team that's very good. I mean, I know they beat Michigan State to start the year out, but Michigan State really, if you watch that game, they didn't play very well either. I don't think Kentucky's that good. Now, I think Ohio State is insanely overachieving. I don't think talent-wise they're near as talented as the level that they're playing at. But they have a great coach, and they have guys playing really hard, and that's a good combination to have. They've got C.J. Walker, who is from Indianapolis. He went to Florida State originally and transferred in this year, and he's made a big difference for them at the point guard position. He's got the ball in his hands a lot, and he's just a crafty, good guard who, he can score, but he also distributes the ball where it needs to get to, and he's a big reason why they have played a lot better this part of this season.
Yeah, Tim would like to see Keon Brooks transfer to Indiana. I don't see that happening, though.
I bet Keon Brooks wouldn't mind transferring either right now. He hadn't started a game at Kentucky.
How do you think Christian Watford's brother feels down at LSU?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they just got beat by Joe Mama, nobody.
East Tennessee State by 20-some.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
Yeah, not great.
No, not
great.
At all.
But I mean, that whole those guys help prove my point every year about the ranking system and the way the people who rate these players in the top 5, 10, 50, 100, whatever they want to call them. I mean, Keon Brooks has been a good player since he was in the 7th grade. I coached AAU against him forever. But, you know, he's a player that needed to go to the right system. And if you just want my opinion, Kentucky's not the right system for him. And, you know, I think he's probably figuring that out about right now.
Well, and Joker asks, does Kentucky lose again? I don't think I'm done trying to predict college basketball games this year because it ain't happening. You just don't know.
Here's the scary part for me with Ohio State is I mean, I think they are insanely overachieving because of how hard they play. And I don't think
you got two overachieving teams.
Talent-wise, I don't think they're that great. Like they're good, but I don't see them as the number 1 team in the country or number 2 team in the country. I mean, I just don't see talent-wise they're at that level, but Chris Holtman has them playing so well together, and they looks like they're enjoying it and having fun, and that's a tough combination for people to play against because, you know, when they play hard, they've got some talent. Don't get me wrong. They've got some talent, but I just don't see them as, you know, you compare them to like a Duke team from last year or the typical Kentucky team. Like this Kentucky team is not anywhere near the talent level of what they're used to having, and I think they're paying the price for that right now.
Yeah, we've seen that those teams with all that upper echelon talent, they haven't done much. It's the teams like Virginia and Texas Tech, both Final Four teams last year that were team-oriented, defense-oriented, those type of teams succeeding, older players succeeding. Right. And I think that's where college basketball is headed, which is why we've got such parity right now.
Yeah, it's there's parity, that's for sure. I mean, it is crazy to watch every night. It's almost now it's interesting to look up every night and try to figure out who's going to be the team that knocks off. I mean, Wofford went into North Carolina. Granted, North Carolina is depleted without Cole Anthony, but I mean, they went into North Carolina and won, and then everybody kind of wanted to see what they did at Duke last night, and they got destroyed.
Make sure you feel free to hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367, 812-269-6367. 6367. You can send it in any time because I know everybody doesn't listen to us live, but we'll get to your questions or comments. Bill asks, if Kentucky does lose, do they drop out of the top 25? Absolutely. They already have. Don't they have? I forget how many losses they have, but absolutely. And
if who loses, do they drop out of the top 25?
Kentucky. Oh. There's no doubt. They can't lose twice this week, I think, and stay in.
That again falls into the category of who cares? Like, who's following Kentucky right now?
Well, it's just
what kind of listenership do we have?
People that don't like Kentucky and they like to see them fail. They want to see them.
Kentucky is 6th in the country right now. If they lose to the number 2 team in the country, they are not going to fall out of the top 25.
Well, but they also lost to Utah this week.
But they're not going to fall out of the top 25.
But I agree. I don't think that they'll fall that far. I think that they'll drop to the 20s though.
They'll get down there quite a bit. But I mean, heck, you look at Michigan lost a couple times in a week, and they only went down to 14th.
Ooh, here's a great question for you from Ryan. Ryan wants to know, where do you rate Calipari as far as X's and O's?
I think he's a great recruiter.
Yep, me too.
I will say this though. Okay, so take this. I'm not a huge Calipari fan because I don't like that system of bringing in all new guys every year and it just being a farm system. I mean, they're like a G League team, and I don't like that. I wouldn't want that to be the college team that I rooted for. But I'll say this: he generally gets a lot out of a bunch of freshmen, and they're very talented freshmen. I give you that, but that cannot be easy to do. And this guy, it would test your patience level to deal with all freshmen almost every year. And I will give him some credit for that. Now, I hate the system. I don't like the way they do things. I'm glad I don't have to root for that. But I'll say X's and O's wise, I don't think he's in the bottom tier of coaches. Now, there's not a chance in the world. This would be an interesting question down the road. Would you put John Calipari in the Hall of Fame?
No, absolutely
Hall of
not.
Fame of coaches?
Absolutely not. How do you when you've got a coach that had 2 banners taken down at 2 different schools for cheating?
But obviously they don't care about that. Obviously they don't care about that.
Yeah,
He's
I do.
Coaching in college basketball.
He's not in my Hall of Fame. Definitely not in my Hall of Fame. Ryan from Oh, right. This is from earlier when you were talking about the coaching attire. Ryan says, I feel coach right on that. I wear a tracksuit every game that I coach ball, the basketball shoes. I'm not about wearing a shirt and tie, not my thing. Coach Huggins still rocks a mesh windbreaker shirt. I feel you, Todd.
Who said that?
Oh man. I just cleared it off. Who did I say, Jake? That was Ryan. That's right, Ryan.
Gotcha.
From Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, but I've never really understood.
No, Ryan from Northern. No, that was Ryan before.
That's Ryan from Michigan.
No. Ryan is from Northern Indiana. That was man. I just cleared it off. My bad.
It's no biggie. I just was wondering who it was.
Yeah,
but I mean, you look at. I mean, he has 7. You look at Calipari. He's got 717 college victories. You don't think he'll be in the Hall of Fame?
He already is in the Hall of Fame. He's in. You asking if I thought he was in the Hall of Fame? No, I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Yes, he's already in the Hall of Fame.
That's just. I
thought it was a joke when he went in. I don't care.
It is a joke. It is a joke. There's no chance.
He took 2 other teams to Final Fours, both of which were vacated. He's had the best talent over the last decade, and he managed to get 1 national championship out of it. He didn't win one with John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't understand it either. I did not know that. I need to do my research better. I didn't know he was in the Hall of Fame already.
Absolutely.
That's embarrassing. They just downgraded that thing.
We got a lot more coming up. We're going to get Tom Brew on here in a second to talk some IU stuff. We've got more to talk about. We're going to look, and later on in the show, let's talk about James Wiseman leaving Memphis. He's the guy that got suspended. Penny paid for his parents to move to Memphis. Then they got caught. And it cracks me up, all these people blaming the NCAA. Now, I don't like Mark Emmert and the NCAA, a lot of things they do. But you cannot blame the NCAA because they broke the damn rules and got caught. And now you want to blame them because they suspended him? He's supposed to get suspended.
Blame the NBA.
West.
They need to blame the NBA. They need to blame the Players Association and the NBA for creating the one and done rule.
I think you blame the people who broke the damn rules. Yeah, they know what the rules are.
He never should have been in college. He should have gone straight to the NBA. They never should have been in college.
Well, you know what this one and done rule is, or not having, forcing the one and dones. That is the same as prohibition. It has no positive effect. It has had nothing but a negative effect.
Twice this week you brought up prohibition. Because
it was on. What's
going on with you?
Well, because it's kind of this anniversary. It's about the time that it happened.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of stuff on. But it is a very similar thing in, prohibition was the birth of organized crime. Well, this one and done has been the birth of this kind of basketball and these kind of people being recruited and all this wars have gone even higher. And I think it's a direct result of that because if these guys – if they had the opportunity that they could go straight to the pros, they would have. And half this stuff would have eliminated itself. I think they got to clean that up. Anyway, we got to take a break. We're going to get Tom Brew on here next when we come back. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Corey O'Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier, number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Listen to Coyle Larry here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Friday, December 20th. Joined now by Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana out at Indiana football practice. Can't be there because obvious reasons I'm on the air, but how's practice going?
Well, they're moving right along, doing a lot of 2-minute stuff and going at it pretty hard today, full pads, and trying to get a lot done today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and before they send everybody off for Christmas and then a bowl game.
Yeah, fun time for this Indiana team. That's something they haven't done in the last couple of years. Haven't done a lot, period, over the last few years. But having these December practices is got to be fun for that team.
Well, it's huge, especially for the younger guys. I mean, just to get an extra 15 days of reps is it's basically half of a spring practice. So it puts them ahead of the game so much more. To get some. To get some activity in and just to feel more comfortable. And, of course, gets everybody, all the starters, gets their legs going and everything in, too. And, they're going to start to put in some Tennessee stuff here in the next day or two as well and start to kind of get in game mode a little bit. And I think they're all excited about having the chance to do that.
Well, one of the things that came up when we were talking about the signing day was that some of these guys who are going to be mid-year guys are going to actually get some bowl practice in. These new signees.
Well, there's just actually only one. Ty Wise is going to be able to kind of, go through the practices themselves, but the other ones will be around. But he's the only one who's going to actually get to kind of throw on some pads and run around a little bit. But even that's just more about orientation and such. But yeah, but certainly what it'll help is, there's going to be 9 of them total that will be on campus in January and going through preseason workouts and through a full spring camp. And that'll be big because to me, we learned a lot this year with Matt Bedford. He came in January and he went from, benching 225 to benching 460, in 3 months and then got through a whole spring practice and learned a lot. And then sure enough, when Coy Crunk went down, he had to go in and play. And if he hadn't been here in January, that could have never happened. And, quite frankly, I think he had a lot to do with this team's season, continuing on a good path because he went out there at left tackle and played pretty darn well and, kept this train rolling. And, so, yeah, the more you guys you can have in early is certainly a big thing. And, they'll get a lot out of that those spring workouts for sure.
Well, speaking of offensive linemen, they went heavy on the offensive line in this signing class. 1/3 of this class were offensive linemen.
Yeah, they needed it though. You've got these 3 senior starters. For one who they'll probably all be gone. There's Coy Cronk has a chance to appeal for a 6th year, and he's kind of waiting and see how he heals up from his ankle surgery. And he certainly would like to play in the NFL someday, whether that's this year or next. So I think a lot of that has to do with his health. But they could very well have lost all 3 of them, and they've lost all of their junior linemen just through attrition in the last few years. So they had kind of a gap in that class, in those 2 classes anyway. So they recruited well to that, but then they also did get some experience there as well with one junior college offensive lineman, and then Dylan Powell, the graduate transfer from Stanford, who can kind of step right in and be a leader as well. So it's certainly filled a need. And then they got a couple more spots they might be able to fill here between now and February. So hopefully they're not done yet.
On the basketball side of things, the Crossroads Classic takes place tomorrow, Bankers Life Fieldhouse up in Indianapolis, Indiana and Notre Dame, in a game that on paper right now looks kind of evenly matched. Notre Dame hasn't had the season that they have been accustomed to under Mike Bray, but in this year of college basketball, man, all things are equal going into the game.
Well, I'm not saying they're off to a bad start this year. I mean, they lost to North Carolina when they were number 9 in the country and had their full complement of players, and they lost to Maryland when they were number 3 in the country. And there's no shame in that. And they've been relatively decent the rest of the way. It's much like all of these Crossroads Classic games have been. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty tense, pretty active affair, and good close games and everything for sure. And so it's I think all of that's important stuff. But I fully expect that Indiana Notre Dame game to be a battle right down to the wire.
Absolutely, and we'll be there, and we'll look forward to it. I know practice is going on, so we don't want to keep you. We'll let you get back to that, but we appreciate you taking the time out to join us.
All right, Jim, and Merry Christmas to you and yours, and Todd, you the same, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.
Sounds good. Got about Christmas coming up. Make sure you find Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated Indiana. What's the link again, Tom? All right, he's gone. All right.
He's busy.
We'll let him get back to practice. Perfect. So we got that. But, football practice going on. I doubt Kalen DeBoer's out there. He's probably out doing his – I think he's just going to coordinate by phone, I would imagine, the things they're doing. Their offense is already there. So there's but I would think he has to be involved because you talked about the game planning aspect of it.
Yeah,
so
are you serious? You really don't think he's going to be here?
Not the whole time. No, absolutely not. Because they had to work it out just for him to call the offense in that game. So I think he's managing both jobs right now. I think he's probably managing it from out there. I'm sure he will be here some, but I think it's going to be a split kind of a deal. I think that he's going to go through his offensive coaches to help. Now, that's the thing. If they've got to, I don't see them implementing anything new offensively this late in the year. Maybe a few things, but it's mainly about scouting Tennessee and game planning against Tennessee.
Yeah, but I mean, you put stuff into that, and that's what I assume the offensive coordinator. I mean, I'm going totally on assumption. I never played college football, but I'm going totally on assumption that that's what the coordinators are there to do, is to, go through and. But I said this the other day. Like I'm surprised that they're working that hard to. I guess having him there is one thing, but if he's not going to be involved in the day-to-day practices between now and game time, I'm not sure that I care that much whether he would actually be there at the game. or not,
I think it's critical. I think it's critical that he's there or not.
I think it's a big fact. I'm beyond a believer. Like I would.
They've been practicing for 4 months already. This offense is set. They've been doing this for 4 months. They've got it. There's not a lot to implement now. It's just the game plan, and I think he's doing that. He's probably coordinating that with the coaches who are here. But we're guessing here. I don't know. I'm just assuming he's splitting his time because otherwise there would have been no question.
I'm assuming he's not. You're assuming he is, and I'm assuming he's not. Because if he's not here and he's not going to be here for the practices and day-to-day stuff and game preparation and analysis, I wouldn't want him. I
completely disagree. The offense is set. The plays are in there, and it's just setting the game plan. You can do that from anywhere. But yeah, he's critical to call the plays. There's no one I want calling the plays other than Kalen DeBoer.
You're gonna think I'm saying this to be negative to you, and I'm really not. But I'm telling you, that's coming from someone who's never been involved in actually preparing a game plan for an opponent, because you can't phone that in. That's not like, there's a lot of detail that goes into that, like literally knowing every move that every player is going to make, and there's no way in the world you can phone that in.
Yeah, that's something I should have asked Tom. Is Kalen DeBoer there? But yeah, there's no one I want other than Kalen DeBoer on the call, on that game plan call, or on the call of those plays at the bowl game. It would be just a total. I think it would be a train wreck without him.
If you sat next to him during all. Will they play 12 games?
If it was that easy, then that guy sitting next to him would be the next offensive coordinator, and that ain't going to happen.
It might happen. You don't know that.
I say it doesn't. I say that they go out and they bring in another top end hire. I'm very convicted that that's how that's going to go down.
Okay, so listen to the whole sentence. If you sat next to Kalen DeBoer, if you sat next to Kalen DeBoer and you studied every play call that he made throughout the season, for every situation that happened throughout a game, and you saw how the game was transpiring, and then he would make adjustments here and do this and that, and you studied that for the entire season, and you spent the amount of time with him preparing for games that you would have spent, you're telling me that by the end of the year you couldn't have learned what you think, Kayla. I mean, you'd have been able to, it's not a guess at that point. You would have been able to say, this is the play call he's going to make, and you'd been right more than 90% of the time. I'm telling you right now, I don't know jack about football, and I can assure you, if I sat next to him all year long and I studied what he did, I could for sure tell you I could tell you, after being with Coach Knight for 1 year, I could tell you what our game plan was going to be at every single game. You learn it that well.
I can't disagree, and I don't disagree with you on the Coach Knight aspect. I absolutely disagree with you on the football aspect. Again, if it was that easy, those guys would just instantly become offensive coordinators.
How do you think other guys get better then? How do you think other guys learn? You think Kalen DeBoer was born just knowing how to do this, or you think
he's done it over 10 years.
But he learned it from somebody. I'm sure.
Initially, maybe, but he developed to get to the point where he is today. He didn't get there by watching some guy over a year. He didn't get to this point where he is now by watching somebody for 1 year. Number one. Number two, those guys that are up there, they all have their own jobs to do, so they can't really study what somebody else is doing. I get what you're saying as far as and it is a learning opportunity, but it is not one that I think would promote someone to saying, hey, let's let him call the plays.
I'm going to tell you how cocky I am.
And the reason it doesn't work that way is because, again, he's got a bulk of experience, and he's the guy that went 67-3 as a head coach. He's the guy that has raised every program's points per game, average 10 to 15 points a game. Not the guy sitting next to him, but him. And I don't think you just learn that by osmosis sitting next to him over a year. So, but we agree to disagree on that is all.
By osmosis, I will agree with you. That is right. That's not how you do it. But you do it
by sitting next to him.
By studying it and learning it. Like
I don't want a guy I don't want a guy calling the plays in the bowl game that has sat next to Kalen DeBoer for a year. I would rather have Kalen DeBoer, who has been extremely effective at doing that for a 10-year period. That's the guy I want if I can have him.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And on paper, that sounds like it would be the right decision. I'm just telling you, I don't know one play they run. I don't know any of the verbiage. I don't know anything about it. But I can assure you, if you gave me the verbiage and I sat next to him and I studied the game films exactly like they took place all year long, I could call the plays. Me, having never sat next to a coordinator before, I could call those plays within 90% of what Kalen DeBoer would have called them.
Tom Allen disagrees with you.
No, you don't know that. Tom Allen doesn't disagree with that. You don't know
Yes,
that.
he does. That's why he's having Kalen DeBoer do this. That's why he works so hard to make that happen. Tom Allen wants to win this game desperately.
Well, I want him to win the game.
No. You're not understanding.
Tom, they want to win this bowl game. They have not won a bowl game since 1991. This is extremely important to Tom Allen. And in that regard, he wants to have every advantage possible. And having Kalen DeBoer call the plays versus the guy that sat next to him for a year he had that option. He chose option A over option B.
Okay. Having him in there cannot possibly be a negative. Okay. I'm with you with that.
Of
course, if you have the option of having him or not having him, you want to have him. I get that.
There you go.
But
you just said you don't want him if he's not all the way in, if he's not there every day.
I'm 100% agree with that. It doesn't mean I wouldn't want him in the booth. It doesn't mean I wouldn't want him in the booth.
But you'd rather have somebody else call the plays?
I would rather have a bigger influence if he's not going to be there. So you're telling me if he shows up January 2nd, you want him to be the guy that calls the plays? You've lost your mind. You've absolutely lost your mind.
Okay. Well, that's why they've got him calling the plays, whether he's going to be there or not, because they know that is the best opportunity they have to win, because no one knows that offense better than Kalen DeBoer, and no one knows what works better with his quarterback and his personnel than Kalen DeBoer. In my opinion.
Everything that you just said is true. And I'm saying I totally agree with you. As long as he's involved in the game planning. If he's not involved in the game planning. He's
definitely involved in it. He's just not going to be in practice every day.
Not from California. That's not involved in it.
All right, well, we just agree to disagree on that one.
Okay. We agree that you're wrong. All right,
no, we agree to disagree. We got to hit another break. Yes, we do. We got to hit another break before we come back and close out this show that has gone by maybe the fastest one ever. A fun day as always. But we got plenty more to talk about when we come back. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary coming back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Coy O'Leary here with you on this 20th day of December. It's supposed to warm up, man. I'm looking forward to that, Todd.
We're going to have a Christmas in the 50s. This is going to be incredible.
As we head towards Christmas. Yeah, we just had all that snow, and we're not going to have a white Christmas. We're going to have a warm Christmas.
Yeah, I know. We'll be golfing. We'll be able to play 9 holes on Christmas Day.
You may be taking your golf clubs to Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I will definitely be taking my golf clubs to Jacksonville, Florida.
We know Don Fisher is. He was already trying to decide how he's getting them down there. Because I mean,
you know what? I need to call him because I'll bet you he'll get us on TPC Sawgrass. He can get us on anywhere.
Yes, I'm in for that. Thank you very much. Yep. Welcome back to the program. We appreciate you. Hit us up on the text line whenever you like, 812-269-6367. So much to talk about today, man. Maryland goes down to Seton Hall last night. How about that? They were without their top 2 scorers, Todd. It's just another game.
It's
crazy.
It's going to be so irritating because if you watched them play last night, I'm not just being super critical about it. If you watched them play last night, they were terrible. Like they were awful. Seton Hall, they had a great story because they played without their guy averaging. It's not just their leading scorer. I mean, this guy's averaging 22 a game. I mean, it's a big deal that Miles Powell didn't play, and they rallied behind him, and they played good. They played hard, and they played good. Maryland looked like they could have cared less. They didn't play hard. They shot the ball horribly. They took terrible shots. They turned the ball over. Like, they looked awful. And January 4th, when Indiana travels there, they'll make every shot. They'll look like the number 5 team in the country at that point. It's frustrating because anybody, I'm not kidding you, maybe every team except for possibly Northwestern and Wisconsin would have beat Maryland yesterday. Maryland was that bad. They were terrible.
Yeah, that's not good when you.
It's frustrating because January 4th they'll shoot lights out.
Hey,
they were shooting 13% in the first half last night. 13.
Jeez, that's terrible.
It's 13.
James Wiseman leaving Memphis. He's the guy that is their crown jewel of that recruiting class. Figures to be one of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft. Was suspended because Penny Hardaway paid for his mom over $11,000 to move to Memphis. Then they were shocked that was against the rules. And then they were shocked that the NCAA was going to suspend him. And then people like Stephen A. Smith and were going higher than just going nuts. Oh, God, the NCAA, what are they gaining? If they're not going to do that, just throw the damn rule book away. Of course they have to suspend him. When people break the rules that blatantly, you have to suspend them. There has to be consequences or everybody's going to do it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, it makes no sense. Like how they could act like it was surprising to them that that he was suspended is one thing. I mean, you just think you're above the law when it gets to that point. And, that whole scenario is unfortunate. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know what the right way to handle that is because I don't know. I don't even know if I like the one and done rule or if I don't like the one and done rule. But I know if I was a kid that had the ability to be drafted in the NBA right out of high school and they forced me to go to college, I would think the rule was stupid.
It is stupid.
I mean, I think it's stupid because, too. However, I love college basketball, so I would love to have seen LeBron play in college for a year.
Yeah, well, of course. We'd love to have seen Kobe play. I mean,
sure.
All those guys, absolutely. Sure. But we'd like to see him play for 2-3 years to where they can develop a rapport with the team. Because that's why, like, when you played, everybody, that's the reason why everybody loves those days. Those teams were good, but it was because you guys were teams. You were all there together all that time, and you knew what to expect. And it was a lot for me, a lot funner time in the sport. I think it's heading back that way because we see a lot of teams, and I mentioned Virginia and Texas Tech earlier, that made the Final Four last year because they were an older team. They were they didn't have those one and done guys. They were the more, and I think that's where college basketball is heading back to because we expect this one and done rule to be changed. I think by 2022. So this won't be the case. And people like Stephen A. Smith saying yesterday cracked me up, saying that they are on the verge of ruining college basketball, that the players are just going to go to the G League. Man, this is the 1%. The 1% of college basketball. How many guys are going to actually have the opportunity to be like a James Wiseman? Very few. Most guys are going to be at college for 3 years, or at least.
Yeah, but we all kind of know every year there's 3 to probably 5 to 7 guys that we know are going to be one and dones that are going to go. They're going to play 1 year in college. They're going to go straight to the NBA. And if that was my son, I would not. I'm not force him to go to college. I don't think that's the wrong decision. I don't know what the right answer is, but forcing those kids to go to college, I don't think is the right answer.
Yeah, because if this was IBM and your kid was coming
if it was
out
NASA,
of high school,
I say this all the time.
Yeah.
If it was NASA and the
Yes.
kid is that smart coming out of high school, if he was a 12-year-old and NASA wanted to hire him, there's not a human being in the world that would say, "Oh my gosh, no way, let's not benefit from that."
Exactly.
Knowledge.
It's a total opposite take by people.
It is.
Well, to me, the general rule is because they're being selfish. They want that for the team they follow. They want their team to get this guy or this guy to come to and stay on their team. That it's more. Most people want to see their teams do well, which makes sense. But to do that, you want the best players possible to stay as long as
What's
possible.
the football rule? What's the football college?
Three years. Yeah,
it's 3 years.
It's an age, actually. I don't think it's 3 years of college. I think it's an age thing, but it could be 3 years of college. But it's one or the other. It's either 3 years after I think it's 3 years after high school. So I think it's an age thing more than.
Why is that okay? Why is that okay?
Because they're doing it right. Because they know that football is a kind of different sport in the regard of physically, they're definitely not ready coming out of high school to go to the NFL. Much less a lot of are not ready for the NBA, but several are. That does not happen in the NFL. You don't have guys that are ready to come out of high school and play in the NFL. Just because of the brutality of it, the physicality of it. But they're doing it the right way. And every sport is different. Look at baseball. They're all different the way they do things. Basketball is just the most prominent and sometimes the most lucrative.
Yeah. I can tell you, I don't agree with anything that Lamar Ball has ever said or really done except for this. And I don't blame him for taking his son over. I think they went to Australia. I think he's gone to Australia and played for the last couple of years rather than going to college. And I don't blame him for that. Well, why not let the kid go over there and make $1 million a year instead of going to college for a year? Like that's just, we can guarantee you that I don't know these people from Adam, and I don't know Penny Hardaway, and I don't know James Wiseman, but I'm pretty much going to assure you the only reason he dropped out of school is because he wasn't going to school. And so he wasn't going to be eligible anyway. So what's the point? Once they declared him, he was going to have to sit out. I probably bet you a decent amount of money he hasn't attended a class since then. And so he wasn't going to college to go to college. Nope. He was going to college because he had to go to college.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it happens so many times. So that's why they're changing the rule back. It's ridiculous. And it's kind of screwed up college basketball, to be honest with you. It really skewed it in a way where it hasn't led to national championships, but it's really changed the season. And I think we see this parity that we're seeing right now. We see teams like Kentucky who are loaded get beat because of the inexperience. Duke getting beat by teams they should because of the inexperience. So it definitely has an effect.
Yeah, and whoever asked the question earlier about X's and O's for John Calipari, when you it's not leveling the playing field, but when you take away his real talent pool that he has recruited from for years, and you send those guys straight to the NBA in a couple of years from now we'll find out what kind of X's and O's coach he is, because he's going to have to recruit the same kids right along with everybody else.
Absolutely. Not much going on in the world of the AD search for Indiana. We're not going to hear.
We're not going to hear. We're not going to hear.
We're not going to hear a word. You're exactly right. We're going to hear nothing until they introduce. Here's your new athletics director.
It's going to be. Hey, and you know how IU is about this too. It's going to be at about 9 p.m. one night. They're going to say we're going to have a press conference tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock to announce the new AD, and everybody's going to be like, "What? Who in the world could this be?" But that's just how IU does it.
We talked about
to keep everything secret.
Some of the games that are coming up on Saturday, we talked about. One of those was Kentucky, Ohio State. It's almost pointless to try to predict games now with how these games have gone. But if I asked you, how do you see that game going? What do you think? Because I'm not even going to hold you to this just because of the crazy season we've had.
I mean, on paper, based on looking at them, I don't even care that Kentucky is still ranked sixth in the country and Ohio State is fifth. Ohio State will drill Kentucky. I mean, it's not even a comparison. Kentucky they just can't score. I mean, they're not a good scoring team. They don't have anybody that can shoot. I would almost be willing to bet you that Calipari did not envision Tyler Hero being able to be a one and done and leave after 1 year. So I think they would benefit from his shooting this season. And I don't know if that means they didn't recruit a shooter or not, but they don't have one. And they struggle to score. So I think Ohio State will wax them.
Michigan's got a tough one. They got Presbyterian College coming in.
Yeah, they're going to win that one. Kansas and Villanova, that'll be a good one because Kansas struggles to score too. I mean, they're number one, but
number one, I guess number 18 Villanova, who's 8-2.
Yeah, it'll be that won't be a cakewalk.
Illinois is at Missouri. That's an Illinois team that's kind of been up and down. They're going to be one that's going to be tough to deal with, especially on their home floor this year. But they're on the road at Missouri.
Yeah, and Missouri, but they're both kind of the same team. Like they're both Jekyll and Hyde. Which we've been saying that about a lot of teams lately. But it depends on which one of those teams shows up. Because Illinois against Michigan looked incredible, but then in a couple of other games they have not looked very good at all.
Not as many big games as I would have thought.
Yeah, that Butler Purdue game will be. I mean, you and I won't see it because we'll be doing the after the game show from the tap. But that'll be a good game. I mean, I know Butler's ranked as 17th, and Purdue struggled losing at Nebraska, a week ago. But that'll be a good game. But Butler and Purdue defensively are both top tier teams on the defensive end of the court. So it'll be a good one.
You got a struggling UCLA team going to North Carolina,
That's a struggling game.
Yes.
If you could predict that score, it might be 38-37.
Yeah.
Both of those teams suck.
Yeah, I would not look forward to watching that game.
No, that'll be a train wreck. That probably looked good on paper a long time ago, and now that game just is they can't cancel that fast enough. They're playing out in Vegas too. I mean, what a terrible game.
Wisconsin's 5-5 on the year. They're hosting Milwaukee.
Yeah, they should be 4-6.
Nebraska gets a shot to get another win as they'll take on North Dakota. Let's see.
Your Dayton, Colorado game. Be a good one.
That's the one I looking at. Yep, 9-1 Dayton, number 13 against a 9-2 Colorado team.
Yeah, you're a Dayton fanboy. I know that.
No, I'm not a fanboy of anybody.
You're a fanboy.
No, just they're having a good year.
You're a Dayton
They're having a good year. So Cincinnati at Iowa. That should be a good game right there. 7-4 Cincinnati traveling out to Ames to take on the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I'm really. We didn't talk about it this week, but one of the things I make fun of Iowa about all the time is somehow they're able to get more guys a sixth year of eligibility than any school across the country. But very unfortunate for Jason Bohannon this week. That's a kid I really enjoy watching him play. He plays so hard, and he's a good, skilled player. And having season-ending, I think it's hip. Is it hip replacement? It's at least hip surgery, but it might even be hip replacement.
Wow.
It just that's just a horrible scenario for him. He was a fun player to watch.
Michigan State loses Josh Langford for the season after he's had foot
for the
surgery.
third consecutive year.
Yeah, that's it just sucks for a kid like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Pat Graham's career.
I was just getting ready to say it's the Pat Graham scenario all over again.
Just sucks. You see a guy that's got so much talent and could be such an integral part of that team, and to not have him, you guys were able to overcome it. But I know you could have used him.
If the rules were the way they were then that they are now, Pat would be still this year be applying for his 27th year of eligibility after all of the foot injuries with his diabetes. And I'm not making light of diabetes. Believe me, it's a very serious, and I know Pat and now his son deal with it on a daily basis. And so I'm not making light of it that way, but we have talked about it. I mean, he just could not heal from injuries, and an injury to me that I could be back from in a couple of weeks or a month. I mean, with his diabetes at the level it was at, he just could not recover from things. But I mean, the way the NCAA is letting guys apply for reinstatement, I mean, Pat could be in year 27 of his career right now.
Yeah, it's a shame. One of the greatest shooters in IU history.
Oh, geez. I still, to this day, you let somebody shoot a 20-foot jumper right now, one shot for all the money, I would still put it in Pat Graham's hands.
Oh, man. Man, it has been an outstanding week, an outstanding day. Jamal Meeks was on with us earlier, and that is worth the price of admission just to listen to Jamal. So can't wait to have him on again. But Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana joined us as well from Indiana football practice. But we will be at the Tap in Indianapolis tomorrow, 306 North Delaware on Mass Ave. After Indiana game, after the game with Todd Leary, of course, Indiana taking on Notre Dame in the Crossroads Classic at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. We'll be at the Tap afterwards, and you can catch us on Facebook Live if you can't be there with us. So we're looking forward to it, man. Another great week. Fun, always fun. Had a great time this week.
Yep. We had some great topics. We had some great guests for a week when Indiana didn't play basketball. We've figured out an awful lot to talk about. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, well, we're going late today. It's like, oh man. So that's always a fun thing when time flies and time
Blame
has
Jamal.
flown.
Blame Jamal for that one.
That's always a great thing, man. We'll look forward to it. We look forward to seeing and talking to you guys again tomorrow after the game with Todd Leary. So until then, for Jake, for Todd, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.